Hello, everybody. This is Shrikant Dasare. So, in this lesson, we are going to learn about how to create a file and open the file and put some content into the file in C++ programming language. The basic idea behind using file IO in C++ is that to store the results or the whatever the outputs you generate through your console applications, to store them in a text file or dat file or whatever the file extension it might be, and keep them permanently in hard disk. Okay, so you might be familiar with cout and scene, those kind of standard objects which are used to send output to the standard output like monitor or grab the input from the keyboard. Okay, so in the same way, we have some classes and objects and methods, sorry, functions to handle with files in C++. Okay, so let me launch the IDE. For coding purpose, here we are using Visual C++ Express Edition for Windows. Okay, so if you go to Help and About section, you have this version number and details about the IDE. So this is the most basic version of Express Editions out there. If you go to Google, okay, so you go to Google and if you type Visual Studio, you get the most recent version. Go to Google for a second. If you type Visual Studio Express 2013 or something like that, you have the most recent versions of Visual Studio out there. So you can feel free to download that, and both are one and the same. But this is very heavy ID, so desktop is the best choice for doing C++ or C Sharp. So this is a very huge, heavy ID when compared to the basic ID like 2005 Visual C++ Express Edition. Okay. So before start writing with coding, we need to create a new project here. So I'm creating a new project by taking a file, new project, and I am naming my project as file structures one. Okay. So whatever you wanted, you can name your project file structures one. Okay. So to write the code, we need to create a .cpp file, a source file. So for that purpose, I'm taking a source file here, blank source file, a .cpp file. Let me say it as file1.cpp, something like that, whatever you wanted. Okay. So the most important thing when you are dealing with files in C++ is this header file, which is fstream here. Okay. So you might be familiar with the IO stream in basic C++. Okay. So when you are dealing with files in C++, you need to add this header file such that you might be able to use those objects or methods which were defined in this header file to perform the file IO operations here. Okay. So and then we have our contemporary IO stream, which is a very basic thing in C++, and we need to take a namespace standard. So namespace is td, and then we have our main function, the very basic thing in any CPP program. You can have scene.get is the method, okay, which acts as like getch equivalent to getch in C programming language. Okay, so here we have all the basic stuff. Let me make some room for myself. Okay, so to create a file in C++, first we need to create an object for OFStream class. Okay, so OFStream class is a class which is defined inside this fstream header file. So this is the syntax for that. So OFStream. So I'm naming the object as my file here. Okay. So now to create a file and open it simultaneously, so we need to follow this syntax. So my file dot open. Okay. And then we need to give some text for that. Let me say it as file. So hello.txt. Okay. So whatever the name you want, you can give it to that hello.txt. Okay. So here what we have done is with this two lines of code, we have created an object for OFStream class, and then using that object, we have opened a file, simultaneously created and opened a file for writing purpose, or you can say in write mode or out mode to be more specific. There are specific modes also to open a file. So we look into them in our subsequent lessons. Okay. So here we have opened a file, created a file, open the file in out mode. So in order to put some content into that file, so you need to follow this syntax: name of the object, and then followed by this insertion operator, which you are familiar with, cout, and then the content here. Okay. So hello from so hello so hello from, you can say some stupid message, hello from text file or something like that. Okay. So what happens here is this content gets pushed to that hello.txt file here. Okay. So as soon as you're done with your writing some content into file, you need to close your file. So for that, this is the syntax: my file dot close. Okay. So close method, as you have open method to open the file. So you have close method to close the file here. Okay. So if you run this program until now by the help of F5 or run button, okay, so nothing happens here. Just the console window pops up. So in order to check whether you have created the file in the background or not, so you need to traverse to your project directory. So I am using a Visual Studio 2005. So my project directory sits in my documents, start my documents, and then Visual Studio 2005. So we have Visual Studio 2005, and in that projects, I remember that the name of my project is file structures one here. Okay, so in that file structures folder, inside, if you browse to that, if you browse until your project directory, whatever the ID you are using. So here, since I'm using since I kept the name of my project as file structures, so I need to browse until here, file structures folder, and then inside that we have another folder where the source files and whatever the backend files we create using our program sits. So that is also again file structures one. So here is our hello.txt file here. Okay, so this is the source file which we have been writing the code in our IDE. So that generated as a file name here, which is hello.txt. Okay. So this is the output of our program, which is a simple text file, and this consists the text of whatever we have written inside our source file here. Okay. So if you want, just let me close the text file here. Okay. So if you want, you can come back to the program, and it can keep on adding the text to your file by taking another object. Okay. So if you want, you can have this format specifiers also, like /n and /t. So as with the case of your cout statement, hello again from text file, I'm just putting another message here. Okay. So now if again you run your program, nothing happens, just pops up the console window. Again, if you go back to your project directory, and if you again open your text file, so here you have that message here. Okay. So that is the next text line of text which we have added inside our source program. Okay. So in that with that said, you can add on as many as lines of text in your program, such that whenever you are successfully compiling and running your program, automatically all the data will be pushed automatically into your text file. Okay. So as soon as you're done with your opening a file and writing the file, writing some content into your file, you need to automatically close the file using this syntax here: my file.close here. Okay. So in this way, you can create a file, a text file, or as a matter of fact, you can create any file with any extension, and you can put some content to that file in the background. Okay. So there is a small drawback when you are doing this tiny little program to create a file. Okay. So what happens here is, let me put the format strings for this also. So okay, so what happens here is, let me run the program once again successfully. Okay, so if you browse back to your text file here. Okay, so here you have two lines of text which we have given through our program. So now what happens here is, let me close the text file, and if you come back to your program, so if you change both the messages, okay, so if you say something like this, so hello from C program, okay, sorry, hello from C++ program, and if you say just whatever the text, I'm just changing both the messages. Hello, so I am from India. Okay. So again, if you have just changed the two messages using your object, okay. So if you run the program once again successfully, and if you go back to your directory, and if you open your text file, so if you observe here, so whatever the contents previously which you have given has been automatically erased and then replaced by the text lines of text which you have given most recently here. Okay. So this is one of the drawback of using a file in the default mode, which is write mode here. Okay, so there is a solution for this, which is to open the file in append mode using a flag. So which we will deal in a subsequent lesson. Okay, so when you open a file in a specific mode like append mode, so it retains the text, the previous text, and just appends the new line of text into the text file here. Okay, so that is the use of so this that is the drawback of using or creating and opening files in the normal the default mode, which is out mode here. Okay, so this is the basic stuff about creating a file in C++ and opening the file simultaneously and putting some content into it. Okay, so let me summarize once again by keeping a couple of comments here. uh, creating and opening creating and opening a file. Okay, creating an opening file and writing some content into it. Writing some content into it. Okay, so this is the object. In order to open a file in write mode, you need to create an object for the OFStream class. Okay, so this I'm putting a comment here. So creating an object for so OFStream class. So creating an object, or else let's type the purpose here to open the file. It's to open the file in write mode. Okay. Okay. So in order to write some content, let's spell it out as a write mode. Okay. So after that, creating an object, we need to open the file. So, okay. So opening the file to put some content. Okay, so opening the files to put some content. Okay, so here we are sending the data to the file using object and let's go to full screen here. Okay, so using the object and using the object and the insertion operator, so which we are familiar with C++ syntax using the cout here. Okay, so finally closing the file. So using this close method or close function, closing the file when we are done with writing the content. Okay, so just add a couple of comments. So this is the basic stuff for how to create a file, open the file simultaneously, and put some contents into a file in C++. So hope this video helps you in some or other way. Give it a thumbs up and feel free to put your valuable feedback in the form of comments. Okay, so see you in the next lesson. Goodbye.